Good morning, dear students. In the last class, we were discussed about the transportation in humans. That is one of the life process. There are four. You know that there are four life process. That is nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion. So nutrition and respiration we were studied, and we were discussing about the transportation in the last class. In that, the structure of human heart we were studied, and its function we were studied. So let us move on to the next concept, excretion. Before going to the excretion, we will see this. There are, I said already, human heart is having four chamber of heart. Human heart is having four chamber of heart, as some other animals are having different chambers of heart. You are already studied in ninth standard. uh, in the vertebrates, there are five classes. Class 1 is physis, that is fishes. Class 2 is amphibians. Class 3 is reptiles. And class 4 is aves, that means birds. And class 5 is mammals, and that is humans are the example. So there are five classes. So on the basis of that, the chamber of heart is also different for different classes. So if you take mammals and birds, if you take the mammals and birds, there are four chamber of heart for mammals and birds. Are you understanding? As we discussed, look at here. This is four chamber of heart. You know that left and right side and upper side and lower side. Left and right side is called, left side is called, that is upper side is called arteries, auricle and ventricles. Lower side is ventricles. And left auricle, right auricle, left ventricle, right ventricle. There are four chambers in humans and birds. So it is separated by, the left side and the right side is separated by a muscular wall called septum, which separates the oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. So it avoids, the septum is avoids the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, and that thus it supplies pure oxygenated blood to the cell, and which produces a large amount of energy which is required to the mammals and birds, because mammals and birds are the warm blooded animals. That means warm blooded animals means the blood of the body, the temperature of the blood is does not changes according to the environmental temperature. So those type of animals, those type of blood which are having animals are called warm blooded animals. Do you understood warm blooded animals? Warm blooded animals means body temperature is maintained constantly with the irrespective of environmental temperature. Environmental temperature ಎಷ್ಟಾದರೂ ಇರಲಿ, ಬಾಡಿ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಎಷ್ಟಿರಬೇಕೋ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೋಡಿರಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ 37 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ವಾತಾವರಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟಾದರೂ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಲಿ, ಎಷ್ಟಾದರೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಲಿ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಮೋರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇಸ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಟು maintain the temperature, so that energy is given by, that high amount of energy is given by heart, because heart does not mix up the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, because it is having four chamber of heart and it is separated by a muscular wall called septum. It supplies the pure oxygenated blood. That's why, as a result of that, it produces, body cells produces large amount of energy, and that large amount of energy is used to maintain the body temperature irrespective of atmospheric temperature. That's why these type of animals are called warm blooded animals. Are you understood what is warm blooded animals? The body temperature, the blood temperature in the body does not varies according to the atmospheric or surroundings temperature. That's why they are called warm blooded animals. Some other animals are there, remaining animals, except mammals except mammals and birds, All other animals, birds ಮತ್ತೆ mammals ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು. Mammals means the organisms, the animals which feed their milk to the young one, directly gives birth to their young one, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮರಿ ಹಾಕುವಂಥವು ಮತ್ತು ತನ್ನ ಮಗುವಿಗೆ ಹಾಲು ಕುಡಿಸುವಂತಹ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ನೋ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಬರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಎರಡು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಉಳಿದಂತೆ ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ಗಳಿದಾವೋ ಅವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಬ್ಲಡೆಡ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್. ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಬ್ಲಡೆಡ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದ ಬಾಡಿ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರಿಕ್ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್. ಅವುಗಳ ಬಾಡಿ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರು ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರಿಕ್ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ಗೆ ತಕ್ಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಥವಾ ಅವರ ಬಾಡಿಯ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ವಾತಾವರಣದ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರು ಬಾಡಿ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರು ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ದ ಬಾಡಿ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೈಂಟೈನ್ಡ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ಲಿ, ಇಟ್ ವೇರೀಸ್ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ atmospheric temperature. Those type of animals are called cold-blooded animals. Are you understood? What is cold-blooded animals? So if you take fishes, if you take amphibians, if you take reptiles, all three classes are belongs to the cold-blooded animals. So because why they are cold-blooded animals? Because they are having, some of the amphibians and reptiles are having 3 chamber of heart and fishes are having 2 chamber of heart. So there should be a mixing up of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, and there is a supply of mixed blood to the cells, and the amount of energy is released at the time of respiration is less because of supply of mixed blood. That means oxygenated and deoxygenated blood is mixed, supply of mixed blood. As a result of that, less amount of energy is released. That's why they should not able to maintain the body temperature constantly. So it varies that's why it varies according to the atmospheric temperature. That's why these type of animals are called cold-blooded animals. Are you understood? So coming to the chambers of heart, as I said, mammals and birds are having 4 chamber of heart. Look at here, this is 4 chamber of heart. And coming to the amphibians and reptiles are having 3 chamber of heart, except crocodile. As I said, crocodile is having 4 chamber of heart, but it does not works, only it works with 3 chambers, but it is having 4 chamber, just for your clarification. So it is having 3 chamber of heart. There is a mixing up of blood, that is oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. So body temperature is same as surroundings temperature. It cannot able to maintain or do not able to use the energy to maintain the body temperature. That's all. And coming to the fishes, it is having only 2 chamber of heart. Look at here, there are 2 chamber of heart, and blood is oxygenated by using the gills ಮುಖಾಂತರ oxygenated blood ನ ಇದು ತಗೊಳುತ್ತೆ. It is also not able to maintain the body temperature constantly. Are you understood? So this is about the chambers of heart. Next we will move on to the another last life process, that is excretion. So are you understood the transportation? I hope you all understood. So sorry, we have transportation, I forgot that. So transportation in plants, till now we were studied about the transportation in animals. So look, coming to the transportation in plants. Okay, so what is transportation in plants? So as the animals are transports food, oxygen, waste materials, energy, water and minerals, like that, plants also transport the materials from one part of the body to another part of the body. So how it conducts, that is called conduction. How it conducts, what are the parts, what are the organs as we are having, what are the parts plants are having, that one we are going to discuss in this concept, that is transportation in plants. So to transport, plant is having 2 different conducting tissues called xylem and phloem. Xylem ಮತ್ತು phloem ಅಂತ 2 ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ xylem ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, and phloem ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಅದೇನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, that one we are going to discuss. So the xylem is transport the water and minerals from roots to, so look at here, xylem is transport the water and minerals from roots to all the parts of the plant body. ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ವಾಟರ್ನ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡೋದು ಯಾರ ಕೆಲಸ? ಝೈಲಮ್ದು ಕೆಲಸ. ಝೈಲಮ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟಲ್ಲಿ, ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ನ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್, ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ xylem. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ xylem ಒಳಗಡೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಏನೇನು? xylem ವೆಸಲ್, ಟ್ರೇಕಿಡ್ಸ್, ಮತ್ತು xylem ಪ್ಯಾರೆನ್ಕೈಮ ಮತ್ತು xylem ಫೈಬರ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. xylem ವೆಸಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಟ್ರೇಕಿಡ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಟು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್, ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ನ ರೂಟ್ಸಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಇದು. ಬಟ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಎನರ್ಜಿ? ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕೆಳಗಿಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾ ನೀರು? ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಟು ಮೂವ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಟು ದ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟೇಷನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್? ಗ್ರಾವಿಟೇಷನ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಆಗಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ. ವಿತೌಟ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ energy, you cannot, without using the energy you cannot move the water from down to the upper direction, that is opposite to the gravitational force. So that's why it require energy. That energy is taking from the transpiration pull, that is called transpiration pull. That means ವಾಟರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಾಟರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಾಟರು ಸೋಲಾರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿಗೆ, ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ನೋ ದಟ್. ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಸೊ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಆದಾಗ ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಪುಲ್, ಇಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಪುಲ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಒಳಸೆಳೆತ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಒಂದು. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ವಾಟರ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು, ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಪಾತ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಪೈಪ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಒಂದು ಸರಿ ಎಳೆದು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಸಾಕು, ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮೋಟ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಬಂದಂಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಅದೇ ಥರ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಪುಲ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ವಾಟರ್ ಎವಾಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ವಾಟರ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿಯಿಂದ, ಅಥವಾ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ. ಸೊ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಆದಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ವ, ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ನ ಅದೇನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಸಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಖಾಲಿ ಆದಾಗ. ಸೊ ಆವಾಗ ಭೂಮಿಯಿಂದ xylem ಮುಖಾಂತರ ವಾಟರ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, xylem ಇಸ್ ಎ ವಾಟರ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ ವಿಚ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಆಲ್ ದ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂನಿಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್, ಒಂದೇ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದು, ಮತ್ತು ಇಟ್ ಡಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಯೂನಿಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದ xylem ಇನ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, so take down the question, what is xylem? What is xylem? Write its function. So next, coming to the phloem. Phloem is a food conducting tissue. As xylem conducts the water in a plant and phloem conducts the food. Phloem conducts the food. Phloem is a food conducting tissue. It transports the food. Where food is prepared in the plant body? You know that kitchen of the plant body is called, what is called as kitchen of the plant body in plant? That is leaves. Leaves are the kitchen of the plant body. That means food is prepared in the leaves at the time of photosynthesis. That's why that is the kitchen of the plant body, and phloem transport the food from leaves to all the parts of the plant body. Phloem is another tube, vessel, vascular bundle. It is also called as vascular bundle. Xylem and phloem are called vascular bundle. So phloem is a food conducting tissue. The transportation of food from leaves to all the parts of the plant body is called translocation. That is called translocation. Translocation is a process of transportation of food from leaves to other parts of the plant body, and it is bidirectional, you have to remember. So water conduction is the unidirection, it is bidirectional, it can move from up and down in both the directions. And phloem consists of sew tubes and companion cell. As we seen in the tracheids, xylem, tracheids, and what is that? Tracheids and xylem vessel, which helps in the conduction of water. Here is companion cell and uh, sieve tubes which transports the food. As same as xylem, here also xylem phloem parenchyma and phloem fiber are there which supports to the phloem. So companion cell and sieve tubes helps in the transportation of food. Food from the leaves transferred to the xylem by the energy of ATP molecules, as we heard about the ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate is the energy currency, is stored energy currency. It moves in the form of this. So how it moves? Due to osmotic pressure. So osmosis means movement of molecules from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. So water enter into the phloem, which helps to move the transport the food. Just to help to transport the food, water enter into the phloem. That's all. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? So this is about the xylem and phloem. This is about the transportation in plants. That is, transportation in plants takes place by conducting tissues or vascular bundles which consists of xylem and phloem tissues. ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ವ್ಯಾಸ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬಂಡಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. xylem helps in the transportation of food and phloem helps in the xylem helps in the transportation of water and phloem helps in the transportation of food. And xylem is having xylem vessel and trachea. Phloem is having sieve tubes and companion cell which helps to transport the food. So this is about xylem and phloem. Are you understood? So this is about transportation in plants. So I hope you all understood the transportation in plants. In the next class we will discuss about the excretion, last life process about excretion in plants and animals. First we will discuss about human excretion. After that we will discuss about the plants excretion in plants in the next class. So thank you.